Q, do you believe in coincidences, the White House suicide, and the Sean Hannity intruder? Hi, I'm Craig. First, I want to say thank you all for joining us here on Just Informed Talk, and special thank you to each and every one of you who have subscribed. Now, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and click the red subscribe button that's right here on the landing page, and make sure to hit the bell for notifications so that you can get notified as soon as this content becomes available. Because as soon as it is available to me, I make it available to you. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for joining me here today. Now, we'll jump right into Q. Okay. So first, before we go into the new Q post that went up this morning, we're going to get into some of the things that we went over yesterday, and we're going to clarify a few things that weren't so clear when we first started. Now, a lot of this I think I got pretty correct, but there were a few things that I want to go over again just to kind of give you guys an idea of other ideas that are floating around out there so that we can kind of continue to work together. And I want to say thank you to everybody who watched my last video. If you haven't watched it yet, I encourage you to go watch it, the video I made last night. But everybody who's commenting on there, truly, you guys are sharp. You're well informed, and you're helping create this incredible platform where we're sharing information, and it's really great. So this one's pretty, self-explanatory. We don't need to re-go over that. I had somebody giving me some kind of clue about this maybe meaning LAX. I don't know if it was like 1, 2, 3 and how that fit. You guys will have to look at that for yourself. But we're looking at this, and I also have heard somebody say zebra could refer to some kind of operations in East China. I'm not sure about that. We're just throwing that out there for the everybody here to kind of look at and help, as we did in the last video. I mean, I have hundreds of comments that are just amazing, and throughout my videos, all my videos, I have thousands and thousands of comments that are just in-depth insights into what we need to figure out together here. But now, people were talking about class action lawsuit and what I say, this kind of grammatical error that Q does, and he says misspelling matter. One interesting thought that I heard people continuously say is that this is how we defeat the algorithm. So the algorithms are trained to take our words and sentence structures based on how it had learned it, from the normal way we speak. So by misspelling words or grammatically making incorrect structure, we can actually fool the algorithms to skip over and not censor our content. So if I do start, maybe I'm going to play around, I'm not sure yet, with misspelling things and trying to do things to get around the algorithm, but I haven't had much problem yet with my videos. But if you are having problem, getting your content up or getting your ideas across certain platforms, try this unique method that I think Q is hinting us in on how to do. So, for instance, misspelling words and using poor structure could fool an algorithm that may otherwise kick your post out of being seen, if that makes sense. The way the algorithms all work together on all these platforms. You got Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Google. So if you're trying to get that content out there, maybe this is a way to avoid being censored. And I'm just going to leave that there for you guys to kind of kick around in the comments. I can't wait to read through them. Now it says, and how is Snowden connected to all this? Well, obviously I'm starting to think that there's a connection between Snowden and the bridge. Not that trust me, I hundreds of comments probably. You guys were telling me it's Snowden and the bridge and da-da-da. I think that there's a lot more to that, but it also could be just that simple. So let's go ahead and we'll look at that in a minute here. But another person pointed out that an event that changed the news cycle was when Jeff Sessions and the Inspector General and how they're all working together to kick that can down the road. But now let's keep going. I don't want to get lost in all this because we're basically going over what we already went over in the last video. So moving up, it says the demonstration made in front of the White House. People have made some very interesting definitions of suspectable. One of my favorites was a commenter who kind of laid out the fact that people who are susceptible are about 2% of the population, and that of those, they can be controlled by creating an emotional conflict within them, and then using the other weapons and tools that they have at their disposal to turn a susceptible person into a suspect. So that's very real, I think, and we need to look at that. Now, this is another one that's kind of self-explanatory, talking about, how people who speak truth in the reality are labeled as conspiracy, and they make you to feel crazy. So they're making us, covering this information, feel like we're crazy when we know we're quite sane. We're very stable geniuses, as the president likes to put it. So now this is the Snowden thing. So what's being suggested is that there was a deal. The bridge was some sort of metaphorical deal that was going to be made, and that the deal of the bridge has ended because they were going to put Snowden up and trade him in return for something. Maybe we were going to trade Stanislav Lunev to Russia in exchange for Edward Snowden, and somehow that deal fell through because we're trying to get Snowden back because he's working on behalf of the clowns, I think. And they're all linked together with Google, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, because they've embedded themselves. And that Russia is actually possibly a part of that canard, working together with them, all of these people. And and Hillary Clinton had a hand in it, and John Podesta and Tony Podesta sold us out to the highest bidder through their lobbying efforts and their positions of power inside the U.S. government, the highest levels of the U.S. government, and that uranium one in North Korea, how it's all connected, how if you go back, you can see it. Now, this one I got wrong. Maybe it's Seth Rich, because I've been seeing a lot more news about Seth Rich too, and maybe the bridge was talking about Seth Rich being murdered. But it's all yet to be seen. I think this is all still playing out, and we got to keep kicking these ideas around so that we can develop the exact meaning behind each one of these little cryptic phrases and questions that Q likes to give us, our crumbs, as it were. So, and somebody said maybe the dead cat bounce had already happened, or in the stock market, which we went over last video, which is it's a sharp turn upward in the stock market after a downward spike, or however. That's a simple way of putting it. It's more complex than that. But, or that we are the dead cat bounce. Like, they thought they had us down and we've come back. All us white hats who are out here trying to spread this information and make this really go viral and working hard every day. So now going into this next one, we can see here. Now, this was interesting. Fiddler. So what is Fiddler? Fiddler is a software, actually. Now, there was a literal Operation Fiddler that I found, obviously, and it was related to the Israeli Defense Force going to Russia, which, Q does say operation name, right? Fiddler. So, and that was all around the time of Snowden, I believe. So sometimes they have double meanings, but there is Fiddler. It's a debugging proxy server. It was written by Eric Lawrence, one of the guys who worked on the original Internet Explorer on behalf of Microsoft. You guys can go look this up for yourself. I don't know exactly how to tie this in, so I'm not going to speculate. But I also had a great commenter kind of break down this, infiltrate all these missions of Eric Snowden. So and we can go through that here uh, in a bit. Hold on one second. So here's the comment that I was referring to, and you can see here what it basically says, which is he is talking about Snowden and his step by step. First infiltrate the NSA, then gather information, takes it to Russia, then expose the Vault 7 through WikiLeaks, which hurts the NSA. While he was in Russia, he leaked story of Trump and the prostitutes, which is the Russian interference. And yes, the Dropbox was taken over after he had Barlow 187. Then he finally releases the censorship programs. Now, that to me was pretty interesting to read through because it kind of goes through this whole sequence of events. Now, obviously, a lot of this is covered in my last video. If you want to go back and see the really in-depth breakdown that I give, and then take that with this, and you'll be able to put together a pretty good idea of what's going on here. Now, let's keep moving. And we all know what that is. It's the video of the Trump getting reelected. And then, excuse me, that's where we kind of left off. This is the last post that we went through. Going into new posts, we have some interesting stuff. So first it says, do you believe in coincidences? The White House suicide, Hannity intruder, narrative, threat, Q. Now, I hadn't heard about this intruder with Hannity. So we all know, if you want to go back, you can watch my last video and check out what went on at this White House suicide, which I've also heard reports that may be coming out of CNN. I haven't gone and verified them yet, but that he shot his phone before he shot himself. So take that for what it's worth. But now this is an even scarier story here, or more just troublesome, worrisome. And I just heard about this today now. It says, intruder scare in Sean Hannity's home leads to arrest. So apparently Sean Hannity's wife was at home alone, and an intruder broke in. And we're not getting many details from anybody close to this yet. That we just know that this was something that's now being pointed by Q, and we know what Sean Hannity does on a daily basis is he exposes the deep state, the bad actors, and those who are trying to distort our republic. And it only would make sense that this could be construed as being a warning to Sean Hannity, just as the man at the White House who committed suicide yesterday was an attempt to warn Trump of something. Warn him to say that they control these suspectable people. I think that's what it's getting at. And you guys can read through this story. Hannity kind of doesn't have much to say. He says, it happened, but he can't talk about it. So I'm telling you right now, this is truly what we need to watch out for, and more investigation needs to be done into how these men, these people, which I don't know, this person's name was Jan Gilbert, so I don't know if it's a man or a woman. But regardless, let's just say that these people who are being controlled to do these things, or are acting of their own accord, but being manipulated to do these things, are truly a threat that we need to re-examine. Now, there's an interesting post in the next one. We'll move on. But I think that it's just saying that the narrative, the people who are trying to create the new narrative, the patriot narrative, the pro-America, pro-God, pro-country, and pro-family and life and everything, they're the ones who are being threatened right now. And because they see them as a threat, the power elites, the people who are enacting this whole censorship now. But that's for you guys to look at. Now, Q actually responds to an ANON here. The ANON asks, has Q ever mentioned the Internet Bill of Rights? Q says reread drops, and he gives a link. And that link takes us here to AT&T. Now, according to a lot of sources I've heard, a lot of people who I trust in the know, AT&T has made a genuine effort to create a free space in the internet where we are protected as individuals instead of being collectively put down. So if we read through it, it's a pretty short little statement here, so I'm just going to read right through it. It says, government rules for the internet have been debated for nearly as long as the internet has existed, even before a professor coined the term net neutrality 15 years ago. The internet has changed our lives and grown beyond what anyone could have imagined, and it's done so, for the most part, with very few but often changing rules. Regulators under 4 different presidents have taken 4 different approaches. Courts have overturned regulatory decisions. Regulators have reversed their predecessors. And because the internet is so critical to everyone, it's understandably confusing and a bit concerning whether you hear the rules have recently changed yet again, or when you hear the rules have recently changed yet again. It is time for Congress to end the debate once and for all by writing new laws that govern the internet and protect consumers. Until they do, I want to make clear what you can expect from AT&T. AT&T is committed to an open internet. We don't block websites. We don't censor online content. We don't throttle, discriminate, or degrade network performance based on content, period. We have publicly committed to these principles for over 10 years, and we will continue to abide by them in providing our customers the open internet experience they have come to expect. But the commitment as one company is not enough. But the commitment of one company is not enough. Congressional action is needed to establish an Internet Bill of Rights, quote unquote. That applies to all internet companies and guarantees neutrality, transparency, openness, non-discrimination, and privacy protection for all the internet. Legislation would not only ensure consumer rights are protected, but it would provide consistent rules of the road for all internet companies across all websites, content, devices, and applications, i.e., Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Google. In the very near future, technological advances like self-driving cars, remote surgery, and augmented reality will demand even greater performance from the internet. Without predictable rules for how the internet works, it will be difficult to meet the demands of these new technology advances. That's why we intend to work with Congress, other internet companies, and consumer groups in the coming months to push for an Internet Bill of Rights that permanently protects the open internet for all users and encourages continued investment for the next generation of internet innovation. Signed, Randall Stevenson, the AT&T chairman and CEO. Well, I mean, and this was a statement that was posted just recently, January 24th, 2018. So a little over a month ago. Now, this is where Q is pointing us. And why is this important? Well, it is vital that we understand that we have to work together. It is vital that we understand that there is a certain set of inalienable rights that exist, not just here in our physical existence, but also in our digital existence. And we need to set the rules for those by putting together this Internet Bill of Rights that clearly and succinctly draws an outline for how we, the people, can function freely in the internet. So, and this is a perfectly put together statement on it. I support it fully. I've had a lot of comments from people who are talking about, all of us content creators need to band together and look at what we can do to fight this censorship. And I agree. And I'd gladly reach out and talk to anyone. I'm thinking about reaching out to a few creators who are around my level and some who are a little above me, and seeing what they have to think about all this, because I think if we do work together, we can definitely fight the narrative. And one of the best parts of YouTube is that you can come together to create content and share in each other's prosperity. So if some people like my channel and aren't really into other channels, then I can bring them to other channels, and vice versa. If some people like other channels and don't know about my channel, they can help me get into their community, and then we can create a larger community. We can keep growing so that we get so big that they can't ignore us. That is the ultimate goal here. So I'm going to be working on that coming up. I'm going to probably reach out to a couple of creators who have been really, they seem to be really good people, and they have talked themselves about reaching out and building some kind of collective together. So we're going to look into that. I just want to throw that out there for all you guys who keep posting that. Now, next one. Q is responding to his own post here. He says, why do so-called patriots challenge this? Careful who you follow, Q. Okay, now, not sure what the reference here. You guys please fill me in in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys have to think. And yeah, you should be careful who you follow, because there's a lot of people out there that don't necessarily have the best intentions for you. They could be misleading. I'm here as just myself, and I promise I never intend to mislead, and I do my best to never mislead you. And the point of this whole channel is to get you, the viewer, involved, so that you can come create a dialogue here in this forum that we have of YouTube in the comment section, but then with each other, and then sharing the videos, and then getting this information out there. I'm just putting it together. I'm trying to put together as much of it as I can so that you guys can disseminate this across your platforms with your friends, and we can get this message to go viral. Now the final one says Killbox or brackets roasted Q. So, we have a lot to look for. A lot of this stuff may become more clear as we are able to do more collective research together. I know it takes thousands and thousands of all you amazing people out there who are watching these videos and commenting, but it takes us all to really get to the bottom of every single Q post, because this information is not just completely centralized. It's being disseminated across an entire global platform now, and we have millions probably of people who could look at this information and help, if not hundreds of thousands. So we have the ability to break all this down, to get all this information now, pushing it through to the next level, which would be like the mainstream level. That's going to be our goal from here forward. Things to note about the algorithm. So maybe the algorithm has trouble with grammar. Maybe the algorithm has trouble, this is the censorship one, has trouble with misspellings. Maybe the algorithm has trouble with pictures and memes. Maybe that's why Q is pushing us in that direction, to meme and to post and to use little tricks to get around the censors. It's all very likely and possible. And I want to say, if you're out there doing this, whatever you're doing, just keep all those little hints and ideas in mind, so that when you go about disseminating this information, you can do it in a smart way that makes sure that the information gets to where you want it to go. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and say that's going to be it for today. I really, really can't wait to hear what you guys have to say, because my last video has so many comments, so much great insight. I really hope I'm going to have the same thing here, and I really, really pray for each and every one of you every day. And that's going to bring us into our last little point here. Well, before we go there, let's just look up a little thing I like to call my Patreon. Hold on one second. So here we are at patreon.com. You're going to go to patreon.com. And in the search bar here, you can just go ahead and put in my channel name, which is Just Informed Talk. I'll pop up right here. You can go ahead and click my page. You can come here. If you want to become a patron and support the channel, just go ahead and click that red button, and you can become a patron and help out this effort, because I'm really hoping and depending on you guys to help me out here. I'm trying to keep this channel going as far and as wide as I can, and I'd like to be able to use all the tools I can, and that includes dollars. So whatever you have, please, if you can, I appreciate sharing. If you can't, I understand. God bless you either way. But you guys can come here and check out my goals. I got a cool goal here, and if we get to 100 patrons, which would be nice, and then you guys can come out, check out the rewards, which are pretty cool. You can get a little direct email correspondence going with me for $10, or you can actually sponsor an episode for $25. Some exceptions do apply. Obviously, I have to follow YouTube guidelines per the fact that I need to keep this channel up, and we got to keep this information coming out. So I can't make an exception there, other than to say that the exceptions that apply are basically read through the YouTube user content guidelines, and you'll get an idea of what we can and can't use as a sponsor of an episode. And I'll have a little discernment here too, but for the most part, I think anybody who's interested, come and donate, and we can get you involved. So let me know what you think in the comments about Just Informed, our Patreon page. If you have ideas to make it better, if you have any thoughts for new rewards, I'd love to hear it. I'm open to everything. Really, truly, I am. And just to take 1 minute here at the end of the video, I want to talk about something that's really important to me. And today is the holy day. It's Sunday. And I just want to let you guys know that God is there for you always. You know, some people, I mean, I'd say the majority of people in their comments are very great. I hear great Bible verses. Please share your Bible verses. Please share your thoughts and your inspiration, your wisdom, your words of encouragement. It's all truly appreciated by myself, but then it's sharing it with everyone in the comment boards too. That's what's most important. And you need to understand that God is here for you. And as soon as you open your heart up to the Lord and let Him in, what happens is there's this magical transformation where you start to become blessed. And every day the Lord will work through you to help others and to help yourself. So embracing that is truly the one thing that we all need to do if we can't do anything else. I pray for each and every one of you to find the Lord in your own time. I hope that you get that relationship, because it's super important to making you truly blessed in this life and the next. So I'm going to leave it there. I want to say thanks for watching. Make sure you come here and hit the red subscribe button if you haven't already. Click the bell for notifications, because as I say every episode, as soon as this information becomes available to me, I make it available to you. I want to thank you for watching. This is Just Informed Talk. I'm Craig. Godspeed and God bless, Patriots.